Mr. Trump lost. Republicans see a chance to get rid of Trump. Welcome to Eagle News Channel. Republicans are losing faith in former President Donald Trump as a result of the strategies he has employed throughout his time in office. They are prepared to look for someone to fill the position. The Republican senators in the United States Senate are looking at the string of gaffes committed by former President Donald Trump as an opportunity. According to Hill, this paves the way for additional potential candidates to compete in the Republican primary of 2024. Republican leaders believe that Donald Trump's chances of losing a primary election are growing, particularly considering the erratic behavior he has displayed over the past several weeks. A lot of people are also skeptical about Trump's capacity to win an election and defeat President Biden or any other Democrat running for office. The most recent gaffe made by Donald Trump, which was a statement calling for the suspension of the U.S. Constitution, has presented a great opportunity, according to Republican Senator John Thune, for party members who are considering running for office. Presidential contender. This declaration made by the former president is on a completely different level than anything else he has ever said. Those who are interested in running for politics will undoubtedly benefit from this, Thune remarked. The results of a survey of probable candidates for the Republican nomination for president in the election for 2024, which was revealed on December 13, showed that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis performed better than former President Donald Trump. The study was carried out by USA Today and the University of Suffolk in collaboration, and it was directed toward Republican voters as well as people who were more likely to vote for politicians associated with this party. When asked whether or not they would vote for Governor DeSantis, the results of the study showed that 56% of voters stated they would do so. However, only 33% of voters went with former President Donald Trump as their candidate of choice. Taking the reins of my own life. In a little over a week's time, the Republican leader in the United States Senate, Mitch McConnell, voiced two separate criticisms of the former president. In the past, Mr. McConnell has frequently refrained from offering his commentary on Mr. Trump's actions. According to the senator, it would be very difficult for Mr. Trump to run for president if he did not support upholding the Constitution of the United States of America. McConnell told reporters on December that anyone who wants to run for president with the idea of suspending or disobeying the Constitution will have a difficult time taking the oath of office as President of the United States of America. It seems to me that it will be very difficult to take the oath of office as President of the United States, McConnell said. On December 4th, Mr. Trump recommended abolishing all rules, regulations, and laws, even if they are written in the U.S. Constitution. This proposal was made in a post that was published on Truth Social. This action is being taken in reaction to a report that Twitter will be censoring information during the 2020 election. According to NPR, the former president received more criticism for eating dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist, and Kanye West, who has frequently made anti-Semitic remarks. Even Trump fans were seen shaking their heads as a result of the scandal. During Mr. Trump's time in office, Senator Kevin Cramer was an ally who could be counted on. Despite this, Mr. Cramer felt compelled to mock the statements that President Trump made of suspending the Constitution and having dinner with Fuentes. He stated that actions like these could lead to Trump's political ambitions coming to a dead stop. I believe that current behavior is the weak area, which is causing individuals who love Donald Trump to grow confused and, eventually, give up. The statement that could lead to confusion among patriots who support Trump is the one in which he calls for the Constitution to be suspended, he said. Mr. Cramer stated that he never in his wildest dreams imagined that the former President Donald Trump would dominate the Republican stage by announcing his decision to seek for re-election in 2024. But he was also perplexed by the fact that it seemed like Mr. Trump was being used as leverage by competitors within the party. He described the behavior of the former president as strange and commented that this is a horrible technique. Significant damage to one's reputation. According to Senator Josh Hawley, recent stumbling obstacles for Donald Trump would inspire his opponents to view him as someone who can be defeated in the primaries for the year 2024. Hawley made a joke directed at his colleagues who were mulling over the prospect of a bid for the White House and said, "I'm sure half of the Senate is actively looking at the possibility of running. I believe that there will probably be 20 people in the primary elections. It is possible that a few more candidates might enter the contest if it were perceived that the previous president was vulnerable. If they are successful in running against Mr. Trump, many other members of the party will follow in their footsteps," he continued. It has been reported that Mr. Hawley, along with 2 other Republican senators, is mulling over the notion of running for president. Both Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio, who are now serving in the Senate, have not ruled out a future run for higher office. Both came in second and third place, respectively, in the race for the Republican nomination in 2016, in which Mr. Trump faced off against his opponents. Mr. Cruz earned 551 votes, while Mr. Rubio won 167 votes. It has been brought to the attention of Senator Tim Scott's colleagues that he might be a viable contender for the presidential candidacy in 2024. During the midterm elections, several candidates who had Mr. Trump support were forced to helplessly watch as Democratic candidates won more seats. A few days after the conclusion of a disastrous election season for Republicans, Mr. Trump announced his intention to run for president. Since then, Mr. Trump has received a string of unfavorable pieces of information. According to CNN, on December 6, a grand jury in New York convicted the Trump Organization guilty of 17 charges relating to a 15-year tax fraud conspiracy. The investigation into the Trump Organization began in 2002. The future is bleak for Mr. Trump. The dinner that Donald Trump had with Carlos Fuentes spurred members of the Republican Senate to declare that anti-Semitism and white supremacy have no place in their party. They also cast doubt on Trump's capacity to capture the nomination of the Republican Party in 2024. After making that mistake, Senator McConnell has publicly cast doubt on whether or not Mr. Trump will be able to win re-election. Anti-Semitism and white supremacy have no place in the Republican Party, said one prominent Republican. It is my opinion that the chances of a person being elected President of the United States are extremely low for anyone who has contact with others who have that position, McConnell remarked. In recent weeks, rather than waiting until after the November elections, Mr. McConnell has demonstrated a willingness to criticize the previous president. The leader of the Republican Party anticipates that the Republican primary in 2024 will be contentious, and he has no intention of participating. "I avoided the primary season as a means to enter it, and that was the key to my success. I have no intention of getting involved in that fight. I believe that the nomination struggle between the candidates is going to be one that is fiercely contested," he stated this back in November. According to Senator Mike Rounds, one of the most essential considerations in the fight for the White House is a candidate's ability to win. "I believe that the American public is aware that if Republicans want to win, they are going to have to send someone who is capable of beating Joe Biden or another Democrat. This is something that I think the American public is aware of." Mr. Rounds stated that it is self-evident that there are better alternatives than Mr. Trump. Support the channel by like and share the video. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and the bell to receive the latest news. Thank you for watching.